What's up, guys? Welcome to the watch party. Episode 4 of Stranger Things Season 5 left us with an insane cliffhanger. So today we're going to go through every shot from the trailer that we haven't seen yet, break down what is happening, and where these moments might fall in the timeline. Before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe. We're going to be doing a lot of this, and what was it Dustin said?
So we stick together, no matter what.
This is your spoiler warning. Let's get into it. First up, we see a close-up of a very worried Joyce with what looks like Will laying on the couch behind her. Then we transition to a shot where we see Mike staring at them both, but not saying anything. The trailer is edited to make this look like it's after the events of episode 4, but as we can see from these Volume 2 images that were released by Netflix, that Will did not collapse after he channeled Vecna's powers. So whatever is happening here with Will on the couch is something new. In the next clip, we see that Eleven has escaped from the Upside Down where we last left her and is consoling a very distraught Mike inside Hopper's cabin. She's seated next to the deprivation tank. Whatever she's going in to find, Mike is very worried about. She reminds him that this isn't like one of his campaigns. He doesn't get to write the ending.
This isn't like one of your campaigns. You don't get to write the ending. Not this time.
Very contrasting remarks from their scene on top of the radio station in episode 1.
They all start again. Together.
Do you think that could be real? For us?
Next, we see Jonathan and Nancy are on the roof of Hawkins' lab, watching what looks like a dimension open up in front of them. This is definitely from their time in the Upside Down where we left them in episode 4. Their outfits match their earlier scenes. We know that in episode 4, Hopper told them to stay there at the church, but when Dustin's math figures out what's in the middle of the big circle wall, they go investigate it. Remember this detail for later. In this clip, we see the Mind Flayer emerging from the rift beneath the radio tower. We see this rift open up in episode 4. I believe in this scene the Mind Flayer dust particles, like the ones we saw at the Russian prison in season 4, will be used to block the radio signal. And then we're back inside Hawkins' lab with a clip of Steve and Dustin hugging. This is from the same timeline we saw earlier with Nancy and Jonathan when they split up. Nancy and Jonathan clearly go to the roof while Steve and Dustin check out the inside. Dustin has been emotionally spiraling ever since losing Eddie, and everyone's favorite duo have pretty much been on each other's bad side the whole Volume 1. I believe in this shot, Dustin's temper will get the best of him, and him and Steve will get into a fight. In this frame, we can actually see a fresh scratch on Steve's face that wasn't there in earlier scenes. Dustin finally breaks, lashes out at Steve, they argue, and they fight. Steve sees the hurt and grief in him, and that leads to this clip of them hugging. It will be a very emotional embrace where Dustin no longer bottles up his emotions and Steve will embrace him, a scene that we desperately need. Then we get the clip of that huge energy blast coming from the roof of Hawkins' lab. This lines up perfectly with what Jonathan and Nancy saw earlier. Whatever is happening on that roof, this is when it fully opens up. Then we cut to Hopper and Elle at the Upside Down Church as the energy waves shoot above them. They came here looking for Steve, Dustin, Nancy, and Jonathan, but as we know, they decided to go on to the Hawkins lab. Then we have Nancy and Jonathan's moment. After all this, we catch a calm, emotional moment between Jonathan and Nancy. Nancy isn't wearing her jacket anymore, which tells us it's after the roof sequence. And honestly, this is where I think Jonathan proposes. The tone, the closeness, the timing, it fits. We can hear him say the word forever here. What do you think the rest of that sentence will be? I want to be with you
Forever.
Will you marry me? Nancy goes full Sarah Connor. We then see Nancy in her new Sarah Connor style outfit, firing in what I believe is the Mac Z. As we can see the Radio Shack behind her, the same Radio Shack we saw in the climax of episode 4. She is standing through what looks like the roof of Murray's Bradley's Big Buy truck, as we can see in this shot that the padding around the door matches Murray's padding he had in the back for the kids. And the roof door that Nancy is standing through lines up perfectly with this shot of Robin with the hole in the roof from the Demogorgon attack. This might be them fighting their way through the gate, planning on driving Murray's truck through and into the Upside Down. Then we see Dustin, Nancy, Jonathan, and what looks like Steve back on top of the radio tower in the Upside Down. They're all in their new outfits. Dustin is in a ghillie suit, Jonathan is armed, and Nancy looks ready to fight. We see what looks like Steve in the background coming up the steps, and they're looking up at something massive forming in the sky. At first glance, it looks like the usual upside down lightning, but as we heard Eleven say earlier that it flashes every 7 seconds,
4, 5, 6, 7.
this is a lot more frequent. And then there's this shot everyone is talking about, the big emotional group hug. I think this happens before what we see in the last clip. They haven't went back into the Upside Down yet, but they're planning to. We see Dustin in his ghillie suit, and Elle in her wetsuit. But his hair looks clean, and Elle's hair looks dry. So I think this is the final hug before they go in. Based on Jonathan's expression on his face, I do believe they are hugging Will, possibly him waking up after the terrifying run moment we saw in the trailer. Back in the Upside Down, we see Eleven pushing through a violent storm at the church cemetery. This is early on, before they escaped where we last left them in episode 4, as we can see her wearing the same outfit from earlier. This storm she's pushing through will be caused by the same energy burst we saw at the Hawkins lab. As we can see on the ground level, it's creating some chaos during its power surge. Next, we have an explosion inside what looks like a military base. Someone is lying on the floor, and I don't think they're a villain. Maybe it's Will, maybe it's 8. Either way, I think they're an ally, and the explosion is a part of a rescue mission that the good guys plan to get them out. Maybe the explosion is from the explosives on Hopper's vest that have been repurposed. Then we see Lucas carrying Max through the hospital during a Demogorgon attack. This will take place during the Escape from Camazotz episode. Max will be inside Vecna's mind prison trying to escape with Holly, and while also learning valuable information while completely unaware that Lucas is protecting her physical body at the hospital. This might be where we learn more about the school play that Max saw in Vecna's memory in episode 4. And finally, the slow motion gunshot. This is a short clip that doesn't feel like much when surrounded by everything else, but that's why it worries me. Why is this shot emphasized? Is it the start of a battle, or does it hit someone we know? Either way, this moment has potential to be a painful one. Let me know your theories down in the comments. I love reading them. And if you enjoyed this breakdown and want more Stranger Things content as we prepare for the Volume 2 episodes to drop, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss the next video. Thanks for watching.